Hey guys, I just came across some time and space that I didn't expect, so I'm going to do a little bit of movement, and I figured I would record it and see what comes out and offer it out to you guys. So yeah, it'll probably be maybe a 20-minute class, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less. Let's get moving. All right, make your way to your space. Play some music if you'd like. Bring your feet about hip-width apart. Press the big toes down and draw your weight forward into the front of your foot. Squeeze the heels in and press the upper calf forward. The knees press forward, and then imagine rubber bands around the legs. Press them wide and allow that to almost lift you up. The heels squeezing in draws the energy from the floor up through the center of the legs, through the pelvic floor, and all the way into the belly. And then the knees pressing forward and wide gets the glutes to be a little bit more active, more lifted instead of tucked down. A little bit more lift here. Find a pulse, meaning bending through the hip creases, through the knee joints. Notice how the spine is staying pretty much as is. Extend the arms forward, push the arms forward, reach the ribs back. And if you had a measuring tape and you could measure from the knuckle to the back of the ribs, could you push the arms further away and make that space even more expansive? Finding your breath. Bring the hands to the crown of the head, sit back and rise straight up. Elbows draw forward, so instead of out to the side, bring them forward. Exhale, sit back, inhale, rise up. Lengthen the back of the neck, open the bottom teeth away from the upper teeth, softening the jaw. Slide the hands to either side of the head. Now with the hands, lift the head up and away from the shoulders. Widen, broaden the shoulders as you narrow the elbows. Exhale, sit back. Allow the head to arc slightly to the right. Tuck down towards the chest. And then off to the left. Opening up. Little circle the opposite way. Head to the left. Tucking down. Moving around to the right, then back up. Exhale, sit back, arc up and over to the right. Open the left ribs a little bit higher. Just stay on this side for a few. Pushing both hip flexors back, both upper femur bones push back. Bring the right hand to the right thigh. Use the right hand to push the ribs upward more. The right ribs move farther away from the right hip. Your gaze begins to look more to the right with each and every pulse. Option to hang out here. Option to hover the left heel. Push the left foot forward without moving it on your mat. So as I energetically push the foot forward, my hips move back. And then drag the foot back without moving it. You can see my foot isn't moving as I dig and as I drag. I'm activating the left leg. So when I do sit back and pick up the foot, flexing the ankle, keeping the toes soft, find a bicycle here. Hopefully the left side is just as engaged as the right side. Allow the ribs to rise, and you'll find this awesome arc within the left side. This awesome sense of lightness. Lifting more and more. Finding your breath. Exhale with lightness, left toes touch. Hips sit back, slide the right hand across to the left outer leg, sit back even further, and then allow the ribs to lift up higher. Right hand, right elbow, pull to the right, left knee presses against it to the left. Shift your gaze more downward now, fill the left ribs. Softening the mouth and the jaw once more. Exhale, sit back, release the right hand, press the head back into the left hand to rise up. Keeping the ribs pushing back, the right hand extends forward, sit back, push the right arm down to rise up as if you're climbing out of a pool or pushing down on a countertop. One or two more here, little pulses. Shift your weight more to the left. Drag the right foot now. Pick up the right knee, but squeeze the right heel towards the right hip. Picking the foot off the mat. Right hand, right knee connect, press them into each other. Sit back more to lift up. Sit back and lift up. Right hand, right knee press so strongly into each other. All right. Option to stay here. Option to open the legs now. Bring the right outer pinky edge of the foot out, narrowing the knees, widen the back of the hips, open the belly forward. Let the knee come lower and the foot come higher. Head presses back, opening the throat. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you grab the back of the right hamstring and extend the leg long, opening the belly. Little movement and pulse within the left leg, within the breath. Exhale, squeeze heel towards the hip, rebending the knee. Send the hips back, let the belly bow forward. The head presses up into the left hand. Don't let the head go downward. Femur bones both press back. Left fingertips eventually touch the floor. Now bring the right hand back to the right knee. Press them into each other and see if the belly can open further. Yeah, bend the left knee more. Bring the left hand all the way flat. Right arm extends in like a waterfall. Bicycle the right leg now. Option to find wishbone if you feel warm. If you don't, no worries about it. No worries about it. All right, bring both hands to the floor. I will rotate so you can see a little bit better. All right, walk the hands further away from you. They're going to come at a diagonal. Send the femur bones back, activate the right glute. Find a little bicycle here, push the ribs up towards the sky. Option to stay here. Option to swivel the left heel towards the left wrist, bending the knee, sit the hips back further. Sit back further and allow the ribs to rise up. Allow the heart to open. Option to bring right hand to the right knee. Option to extend the leg. Lifting up, opening further. Exhale with as much control as you can. Right foot comes down, lands behind. Sit back, right hand. Let's bring it to the left side of the neck, neck hook. Allow the ribs to rise. Exhale, sit back. See if you can make the pulse bigger within the ribs this time. Sit back and grow the ribs away from the hips. Couple more like that. Exhale, sit back, rotating right hand back to your mat. And then for me, I'm at this diagonal off of my mat. Push the ribs up towards the sky. Left hand comes back to the mat. Right hand comes to the mat. And then bring the right elbow towards the right knee towards the right elbow. Pressing them into each other, lengthen the belly. Some pulses here. Outer pinky edge of the foot lifts up. Ankle is flexed. Yeah. Right ankle crosses over the left knee. Press them into each other, figure four here. Push the left foot back, lengthen the head forward. Reach the hips up. Twist the knees to the left, hips sit to the right. Dome the left hand, right ear towards the right shoulder. Finding your pulse. Left hand touches down, lift the ribs up. Right knee lands behind the right wrist. Untucking both toes, top of the foot to the mat. Knees press forward and wide. Activate the glutes here, lifting the ankles up. Sit back. And bring your way up to your fingertips and maybe up to a hover. Yeah, sit back even deeper. Option to slide the left knee back further. Squeeze left heel towards the left hip. Lift up. Bring the hands to the crown of the head. Rise with more height, more space between each and every rib. Exhale, sit back with a lightness within the ribs. A lift underneath the armpits. Descend like a hot air balloon coming down. So light, so much control. Hips sit back. Tuck the back toe and lift your way to crouching cat. Pedal the feet. Swivel the hips, the heart, the head. Finding your breath. A little bit of movement. Finding center. Step the feet wider, about the width of your mat. Bringing the hands about the width of the mat as well. Pinkies all touch the edges of the mat. All the pinkies. Yeah. Press the knees forward. Stretch the head forward. Open the belly. Open the throat, sit back. Push the feet back behind you to lift the hips up with more lift, like more lightness. So oftentimes we think we're lifting the hips, but if you can press from the feet, you can find more power, more lift. Exhale, sit back. Step or hop your feet wider than your mat. Weight on the front of the foot, knees forward, hips back, rise up. Hands come to the hip creases, finding a pulse here. Sitting back, swivel the heels to the left, therefore the toes move to the right without lifting. Right hand to the right thigh, left hand to the left thigh. Sit back and lengthen the belly. Can you move the belly further away from the thighs? The thighs, the directionality of the fascia, you can bring the hands inward, so the fingers on the insides of the thighs, and then press the inner thighs back. And then reach behind, lift the glutes up. Yeah. Right hand comes to the inside of the leg now. Seed hand to the inside of the leg, elbow presses wide. Lift the bottom ribs up. So even bring the left hand to the right ribs. Lift up, allow the head to arc to the right, opening through the neck. Extend the left arm long now. Keep that idea of the hand on the ribs. And then bring the left hand to the right side of the neck. Head presses back, elbow drives forward. Lifting up. Lengthening here. Cool. Exhale, sit back, both hands pull up bar. Arcing up and over with the ribs. Exhale, sit back, arc up and over. One or two more. Getting prepared for the idea we're going to push off the back foot. Exhale, sit back, left elbow, left knee come towards each other. Allow the left ribs to rise. Sit back, find a lunge. And find a lift. Whew. And it might be that you get so light you get wobbly, like I just did. It's okay. Exploring new territory. All right, on this next one, we'll pause in this balance. Find a bicycle, find a lift. Infinity, left foot comes to the right inner thigh. Press down into the big toes. Push the big toes down. Genie arms. Wrap the hands around the elbows. Right hand on top for now. Exhale, sit back, sit deeper. Both knees drive forward. Don't let the left, even to demo, that's hard. Okay, so don't let the left knee go out to the side. Bring it forward. Both knees push forward. Elbows push down, rise up. Push into the inner big toes for more stability. Yeah, exhale, sit back, pause. Allow the ribs to press left, ribs press right. Finding a drishti, a gazing point, somewhere the eyes can just kind of look out on the horizon. Pausing the ribs, sit back more, swivel the hips right and left. Keep pulling the hands apart, widening through the back of the ribs, sitting deeper, allowing the hips to swish right and left. Pausing here, head to the left, head to the right. Once more each side, softening the breath. Exhale, gently release, left foot comes down, arc the ribs up and over to the left, head moves right, hips move right. Exhale, sit back, switch sides. This time, extend the forearms, crossing the forearms, left arm on top, intertwine the pinkies, so press the pinkies into each other. It's a better way of saying it. So I have two seed hands, pinky edge presses into each other, arc to the right, to the left, but thinking more of a lift within the ribs. Hips sit back, belly bows forward. Bring the hands to the thighs and find some really awesome rib circles here. If it feels better for you to bring the hands to the lower thighs to do this, go for it. Cool. Exhale, sit back, squeeze. Actually, press the big toe down first, creating a little arch under the big toe, the knuckle. Bringing the weight forward into the front of the foot. Squeeze the heels in towards each other. Knees press forward and wide. Allow this to lift the upper body up. So it's like the heels squeeze in. There's this fascial energy moving from the center of the leg through the pelvic floor up into the belly and all the way up. And then the knees press forward and wide and you find the outer legs engaging equally. Bring the hands into pull-up bar. Elbows pull down as the ribs lift upward. Slide the hands to either side of the head now. Head can press back. Allow a lift within the throat. So I'll just demo with one hand so you can see the chin. This is a really common thing that happens. We think we're lifting, but we're really flattening the back and tucking the chin. So allow a lift. You can even let's do that. Bring the right hand to the back of the neck. And search for a curve, a crevice within the back of the neck. Head presses back, both elbows draw forward. Lifting up, sit back and lift up. If you need symmetry, switch the hands, left hand to the neck, right hand to the head. Allow the belly, the throat to bow forward as the heart, hips, and head all sit back. Keep this. Bring both hands now to either side of the head. Widen the shoulders, narrow the elbows. The head is heavy within the hands. The hands help lift the head away from the shoulders. Exhale, sit back, arc up and over to the left, open the right ribs. Exhale, sit back, arc up first, and then over. Noticing the difference on the two sides. One side is always a little easier or harder. Left hand, bring it to the left thigh now. Use this, don't just place it there and make the shape. Press the hand firmly into the leg to lift the ribs up higher. Sit back and lift up higher. Shifting your gaze more and more to the left. And then eventually rotate the elbow down. Peel the ribs open as you spiral upward. Exhale. Fill the right ribs, rotate the elbow down, inhale, peel it open. Couple more moments here. Feeling hopefully a little bit more freedom within the ribs. Exhale, sit back, hover the right heel. Lifting the right heel, push the right foot forward, drag the foot back, and then bring the knee forward, squeeze the heel towards the hip, find a bicycle here, lifting through the ribs. Breathing. Allow the ribs to rise even higher, even if you become off balance. Softening through the breath. Hips move back further, opening more. Exhale, right foot lands so light. Allow the ribs to lift, then the head. Sit back more. Left hand comes to the outer right leg. Pull the legs apart. The hand pulls to the left, the leg presses right, arc up and over. Finding a little bit more of a lift within the ribs. Allow the ribs to expand upward as you look down. Exhale, sit back, extend the left arm forward. Imagine that measuring tape from the knuckle to the back of the ribs. Push them away from each other. Lengthen. See if you can find an extra inch. The head now can press back into the hand and you can lift up higher. With the hand, pull the head upward. Exhale, sit back, inhale, rise up. Find extra lightness here. Extra length. Exhale, sit back more. Keep your gaze lifted. Hover the left heel. Push the foot forward energetically. Don't move it on your mat. Pushing forward, dragging back. Push forward, drag back. Sit back. Lift and hand and knee connect. Press them into each other. Squeeze the heel towards the hip. Engage the glute more. Finding this extra lift upward. Sit back to lift up higher. Exhale, sit back and now widen the legs. Imagine rubber bands around the legs. Press the legs wide, narrow the knees, lift the foot higher. The head is cradled within the hand. The elbow pulls forward. Ribs press back. Option to stay or grab the back of the hamstring, extend the leg long. Hips push back. Belly bows further forward. Further forward. The more the head can press back, the lighter this becomes. Bend the left knee, squeeze the heel towards the hip. Femur bones both press back. You can keep the hand on the back of the hamstring or rotate it to the front of the knee. Right fingertips touch so light. Allow the left hand to waterfall. Bicycle the left leg. See if you can allow more lift within the ribs and just tap the right fingers. Get really light on the right side. We're not dumping down into the hand. Bend the right knee more now. Walk both hands far away from you at a diagonal so that you can bring both hands all the way flat. Push the ribs up towards the sky. Find a little bit of a pedal here. Option to hang out here, or bend the knee deeper, push the hips back, swivel the right heel towards the right hand, allow the ribs to lead you up. Blue moon, opening the belly. Left hand, left knee might connect. Press them into each other to find even more height. Sit back deeper. Maybe connect to the back of the hamstring and lift up. Exhale, softly release. Left foot comes behind you, landing with so much lightness. Set the hips low. Left hand to the right side of the neck. Allow the hand to lift the neck upward, opening the left side of the neck. Find your pulse, back cat. Hips sit back and then allow the ribs to stretch more than the legs. So thinking about the ribs and the hips moving in opposition. Press from the feet, get the hips back further. Softening the jaw, the neck. Sit back, left fingertips touch with so much lightness. Lift the ribs, and then, challenge, keep the leg lifted as we kind of maneuver our way back to the mat. Of course, if you need the foot down, go for it. And I dropped my mic from that maneuver. All right. Bring the left knee towards the left elbow. Pull them in towards each other. Squeeze the heel towards the hip. Outer pinky edge of the foot lifts up. Little pulses here. Breathing. Trying to create more space between the tailbone and the head. Ankle crosses over the knee now. Press them into each other. Lengthen once more. Knees both press forward. Swivel the knees to the right, hips sit back to the left, dome the right hand, left ear towards the left shoulder. Finding a pulse. Push the floor away from you. Left knee comes towards the left wrist. Top of the feet come to your mat. Knees press forward and wide. Push the floor away from you and expand the ribs upward. Walk the hands back, become lighter. The ankles are lifted, heroed foot. Hips sit back, float the arms up. Expand the ribs back. Option to walk the right foot back a little bit and squeeze the heel towards the hip. Maybe bring the hands to the crown of the head and rise up. Opening the throat, belly. With as much lightness as you came up with, we're gonna bring the arms forward. Inflate the ribs as if you're a hot air balloon. Lift up from underneath the armpits. The fingers can kind of drip down to domes, descending with so much lightness. Fingertips touch. Walk the hands forward and wide. Don't let the ribs collapse down. Tuck the back toe. Bring the left foot to your mat. Pedal out the feet, the hips, the heart, and the head, finding like a serpentine-like movements here. Bringing the feet to the edges of the mat, the hands to the edges of the mat, crouching cat pulse. Exhale, sit back, inhale, lengthen forward. Step or hop your feet wider than your mat. Make your way up. Hands to the crown this time. Knees forward, hips back. Rise with a long belly. Exhale, sit back. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, sit back. Swivel the heels to the right, toes to the left this time. Hands come to the hip creases. Sit back and find a pulse. You can kind of spiral the inner thighs back and then reach behind and lift the butt upward. As you do this, think about the belly lifting up too. It does go forward, but it's not just out and down. It's forward and up. So there's a lot of space between the belly and the thighs. Left seed hand on the inside of the left leg, right hand, bring it to the left ribs at first. Lift the ribs up. Don't let them collapse down. Find some pulses here within the legs. Imagine the hand staying there, but now extend it forward. Don't let the ribs collapse down. Bring the right hand to the left side of the neck. Soften the right jaw. Separate the bottom teeth away from the top teeth. Elbow is forward towards the nose. Exhale, sit back, inhale, rise up. One more pulse like this. Exhaling back, hands into pull-up bar. Allow the ribs to rise. Get light on that back foot. Imagine pushing off of it before we actually do. On this next one, sit back, bring the right knee towards the right elbow. Exhale back. Find a couple like this. Allow the ribs to rise. Yeah, on this next one, we'll kind of pause. Allow the ribs to rise, little bicycle. The head is arched, finding a more challenging balance. Bring the hands to the head to rise up with ease. Foot and inner thigh connect. Right foot on the left inner thigh. Press them into each other. Both the toes push inward. The knees press in and down. The toes press in and down. And then the knees press forward. Bring the hands to genie. Left arm on top this time. Elbows, pull them apart. Find a pulse here. Sit back to rise up. Higher. Yeah, next time you sit back, allow the ribs to move to the right, to the left. Pull the elbows apart. Exhale, sit back, swivel the hips right and left. Yeah. All right, find a pause. Shift your head to the left, to the right. Once more each side. Find center with as much lightness as you can. Right foot touches down. Slide the ribs right and left. Hips sit back. Keep all of this. Now just extend the arms forward. Bringing the right arm on top this time. Right arm pushes down, left forearm pushes up. The pinkies press into each other. And this can be really low, or it can come up high. Cool. Bring the hands back to the head, lift up. Sit back and lift up. Imagine the hands pulling the head away from the shoulders, and then the elbows pulling the ribs forward. They pull forward a little bit, but it's like the back ribs resist back, and then the back ribs are pulling up and away from the hips. Keep the head pressing back. Step the feet wider than your mat. Knees forward, hips back, head resists up into the hands. Hinge from the hips, fingertips touch down. Walk your way onto your hands, to your feet. Organic movement of any kind here. Exhale, find center, twist your knees to the left, bringing the right hip down. Slide the left hand in, extend the right arm towards the left corner of the mat, letting your head lead your way down, lying on your side. Bring the elbow down. Let's bring the left knee and foot in front of the right. Right hip and knee will slide back a ways, allowing the belly to move farther forward by kind of finding this diagonal, this space between the belly and the side. With the elbow down on the left elbow, so not having it in the air, the elbow comes down. Press it down into the mat, fill the back ribs. Push the feet into the mat to lengthen the belly. Elbow and knee now pull towards each other to lengthen more. The head almost wants to extend up off of the arm now. Then allow the head to drop back. The left arm rises up. Let's leave the right elbow down for a moment. All right, and imagine you're grabbing a big yoga ball. So we bring the hands closer, but keep the right elbow down. Now push the right elbow down into the mat and imagine doing the same with the left. Push wide as if you're trying to break out of this big yoga ball. Expanding the ribs, lift the chin, and don't let the head turn more than the rest of the spine so the nose stays in line with the sternum. Press into the feet now and get the hips to root back, and you'll find more of a twist. Pressing the elbows wide, breathing, lengthening through the belly, through the low back. Right hand comes to the outer left elbow, left fingertips all the way up overhead to the floor. Deep inhale, deep exhale, letting it go. Inhale, both arms up. Ankle crosses over the knee as you roll onto your back. Use the foot, the hips, the heart, and the head to maneuver to center instead of the arms. Once you find center, press into the right foot, lift the hips, and just set them back down so they're neutral. Rock the arms right and left. Expanding the back of the ribs. Can you get them bigger? Keep that expansiveness. Press the hips down, lift the right foot up. Reach the arms and legs away from each other, keeping the ankle and knee pressing into each other though. Lift the chin away from the chest. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, find length. Exhaling in. Twist the legs slightly, left arm slightly right. Option to find that. Inhale, reach long. Exhaling in. Twist the arms to the left, legs to the right. Reaching long. Not twisting so far that you lose control. Exhaling in. Release the ankle from the knee. Pick up the hips, slide them to the right. Extend the left arm long as you roll to your left side. Once you get there, pick up the hips and slide them at least 6 inches behind you. At least, maybe further. Bring the right elbow all the way down and then bring the right knee and the right foot in front of the left. The left hip and knee can slide even further back. Allow the belly to move down almost towards the mat. It's bowing forward. You can kind of reach and find this crevice in the low back. Hopefully there's a nice crevice there and it's not flat. If it's flat, the hips are tucked under. So allowing the hips to open towards the back. Elbow and knee pull towards each other. Find so much length here that your head almost instinctually wants to lift up because there's now more length within the neck as well. Keep that as we roll onto our back. Right arm rises. Extend the left arm more in front of you, as if you're holding a yoga ball. Elbows press wide. Hands are in the seed hand and they're kind of rotating. They're kind of near each other, but not touching. Elbows push wide even more. Imagine you're trying to break out of this yoga ball now. Push into the right inner foot, left outer foot. Driving the knees forward, root the hips back more and find more of a twist. This amazing expansion from within. Left hand comes to the right outer leg, right fingertips all the way to the floor. Lift the chin. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. Check in with the nose. The neck, ideally the nose is still in line with the chest. The neck is really helpful. It wants to overdo. So making sure we're not forcing the neck. On your next inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, ankle and knee connect. Keep the arms lifted as you make your way back to your mat with the back of the body. Pick up the hips, set them back down so they're nice and neutral. Rock the arms right and left. Keep that, lift the chin, press the belly upward and allow the pelvis to tip down, making more space between the pubic bone and the belly button. Ankle and knee, press them into each other and then keep that press into each other as you reach long. Exhaling in. One more through center like that. Inhale, reach long. Exhaling in. Inhale, twist to the right with the legs, left with the arms. Inhaling more and more and more. Exhaling it in. Inhale, twist opposite side, knees to the left, arms to the right, reach. Exhaling it in. Release the foot down, fingertips up overhead to the floor. Windshield wiper the knees right and left. This class went a little longer than I than I initially advertised. I should have known. I'll put that in the comments so you guys aren't as caught off guard. All right, I'm going to lead you into a quick Shavasana, or no, I'm going to lead you into a Shavasana and then say goodbye there. So the video will cut off while you're in the middle of it because I have to run, but feel free to stay as long as you'd like. But yeah, let me guide you into it. Extend one foot at a time, reach underneath the butt, and we're gonna just kind of encourage the flesh to lift out and up, untucking the tailbone, letting the belly move upward. Now it might feel crunchy in the low back, so a couple things. You can bring the arms up towards the sky, you can give yourself a hug, but whatever it is, almost walk the shoulder blades up and away from the hips, and as you do that, widen them as well. So widening through the ribs. At the same time, you're lengthening the spine. Exhale the hands down. I like to pick up the head, just set it back down. Allow a slight lift within the chin. Deep inhale here. Exhale, close the eyes, let it go. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. At least 3 more deep breaths like that. Allowing the oxygen to cleanse the body. Letting go of anything you don't need. And eventually returning to a natural, relaxed breath. And slowly letting go and melting, relaxing through each and every part of the body. Have a wonderful rest of your day or night. See you next time.